everyone, and happy International Women's Day. A huge shout out to all of the women, all of the inspirational women here at HRS who make our business such an amazing place to work. Thank you for all that you do. And this day is obviously dedicated to you. An inspirational woman in my life. It's probably quite a common theme, but I'm going to go with my mother. She is potentially the most selfless person I know, extremely hardworking. She came to the UK from the Philippines in the 70s, worked extremely hard before meeting with my dad and getting married. And on me being 1 year old, made a really difficult decision to send me over to the Philippines so she could continue working, better lives for us, better home, etc. Before me returning back when I was about 5. She continues to be in her 70s, an extremely hard worker, dedicated her lives to helping others, worked really, really hard as a nurse. I have really early memories of being picked up from school and literally going with my mum to night shifts, being picked up by my dad while she was working away. In her 70s, she continues to be selfless, really giving, always with a smile on her face still. So thank you, Mum, and thank you everyone again. Happy International Women's Day.
One of the most inspirational women for me has to be Rosa Parks. She obviously stood up for something that was so necessary to change the course of time and change how people were treated, and it's made a massive impact now and continues to make a massive impact in the world that we live in at the moment.
The most inspirational woman to me on today, what is International Women's Day, is my mum. And I know every boy has a really soft spot for their mum in their heart, but I really, really do. My mum is one of the strongest people I've ever known and I think will ever know. I might be a loud character, but my mum is the polar opposite. She is shy, she hates being in the spotlight, she absolutely hates anything where she has to speak to people publicly or outside of anybody she's comfortable with. But for me, the reason she's such a strong character is my real dad left before I was 1 year old. 1 week before my first birthday. I had an older brother who had just turned 3 at the time. 2 young boys, and I'm a dad of a child that is 3 and just over 1. I know how hard that is. My mum was a single mum, she raised us, she provided for us, she worked multiple jobs while she was still trying to give us the care that we needed and never asked for a thank you from anyone. So I know there's a lot of people out there who have a similar situation, but I'm so inspired by the strength that my mum gave me. And I believe it's given me a real determination to make sure that if I want something, I go and get it. She's the strongest person I know.
A more inspirational woman is my mum. She came to a completely new country, she set up a new business, she's currently successful lawyers. She's worked with clients across UK and Europe, and I'm really proud of her, and she inspires me every day as well to succeed in my current job, coming to a different country, and maybe becoming a successful recruiter.
Most inspirational woman for me has to be my wife, Suzanne. Not only does she put up with me, in fact that's probably the main reason, but ultimately bringing up 2 children whilst going back to college, whilst starting a new career and supporting us in moving from one part of the country to the other. She is the reason that I am as good as I am.
So I think I'm going to pick Rosalind Franklin. I think she was the unsung hero in the DNA discovery. And after all the issues over the last few years with COVID, obviously very much an RNA linked, which is very DNA linked, she laid some good groundwork for the women who discovered the COVID vaccine.
My most inspirational woman is Marie Curie. She supported groundbreaking research within radioactivity, further supporting cancer research. The Marie Curie Trust now supports people with terminal illness.
So in terms of my most inspirational woman, it does change from time to time. Currently it's Rihanna. I just think, she's not someone that I paid that much attention to when she did music, but I just think the business sense in terms of driving her businesses and some of the work that she's done for her community and some of the awards that she's won in terms of giving back, I found her really inspirational. Some of her quotes, if you look up online, really empowering, especially for women of colour. So that really resonates with me personally, and that's why she's my most inspirational woman.
Most inspirational woman is my own mother, because ever since raising me, she's always put myself first. And this being my first office job, I come home at around 6:30, 7, and I'm knackered, and I think that she used to come home, look after me, take me to my piano lessons, to football every night of the week, make my tea, always putting me first, even when I didn't really deserve it. And even now when she's struggling with long COVID, even now she does my washing, even when I offer to do it, she makes my tea when I offer to do it, always putting others before her, and I don't know how she does it even now, and I'm always in awe of her, and hope I grow up to be as good a parent.
Okay, so my most inspirational woman is Oprah. Oprah, when she was younger, she actually got abused by several men in her family, her close relatives as well. And as she grew older, she became really established. She's a really established businesswoman at the moment. So me personally, it resonates with me because growing up from East Ham, which is a really rough area of London, I also want to be in her position one day where I can kind of say I'm a self-made woman. So yeah, it's very inspiring.
So my inspirational woman for International Women's Day, 2 women in combat sports, can't mention one without the other. Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valentina Shevchenko. If you Google their names and you want to watch entertaining fights, you have to see them. They're both amazing, and I just love that they're building a name for themselves in a sport where, you know, they're up against stereotypes. You know, combat sports is seen as masculine, and they're building a massive career and following their passions. And you have to.
The most inspirational woman is Katie Piper. So, for some of you that don't know, Katie had a horrific acid attack in 2008. Most of the injuries were over her face and her chest, so very visible. She's since had lots of surgeries, still today, with blindness in one eye. She lost half of her ear, so she's still in the public eye. She's a presenter, published author, and she's the founder of the Katie Piper Foundation, which is an incredible charity for adult burn victims. So she hasn't let any of that dampened her personality or helping others. She's an incredible woman who I follow on social media. She talks about her struggles openly, and that's why she's my most inspirational woman.
So, in celebration of International Women's Day, I'm going to suggest that my most inspirational woman in my life is my fiancée, Louise. Having been pregnant during a pandemic and going through all those uncertainties, she came out incredibly strong. She's a real independent woman, and she gave birth incredibly to our beautiful baby boy, Elliot. So she is my nomination.
So my most inspirational woman has got to be Kaz Crosley. She was actually on Love Island a couple of years ago, but since she's gone on to use her fame in such a great way, she's actually set up a new home, a school and a gym for deprived children in Thailand. Alongside that, she's now got a trust which actually raised 85k in just a couple of days, which all goes towards the school, food, etc., facilities for the gym, and I think she's looking on expanding the project. So she is my most inspirational woman.